I'm in pain 24/7. Hello, hello. I'm in the park and I've got my notebook and my corona. And I wanted to share what it's like to have what I think is MTD, which stands for muscle tension dysphonia. And it's a lot of the time it's like trauma or anxiety induced. And it like tightens your muscles around your throat, which is quite common. Like if you get anxiety to feel it in your throat, have a lump in your throat. But this is chronic. It stays constantly. And it's like even when you're not anxious, I've not been diagnosed, but I do have anxiety and a lot of uh vocal conditions run in my family, so I'm not surprised that I would have it. I've had symptoms for going on like 5 years now, and I've never talked about this to anyone willingly. And I've had therapists, I've had counselors, like I haven't even talked to them about it. I, if you know me, you know that I don't get embarrassed easily. This has a lot of shame involved for me, and it's very embarrassing to talk about for me. So it's taken a lot for me to make this video, but I feel like since I'm a corona deep, maybe it's time because I've had the flare up recently and it's made me like really realize like this really affects my life, and I'm kind of lying to people I know like about what's wrong. So, like I said, MTD is pretty much characterized by tightness in the throat. Sometimes your vocal cords can like spasm. Sometimes it's to do with the diaphragm, and your breathing is like that's very interlinked with it as well. Um, for me, it's mostly with my throat and my diaphragm. So I've had pretty intense anxiety all of my life, which I find translates very physically rather than mentally for me. So I can feel like right now I'm fully relaxed. Like I don't feel anxious even though I'm out in public, I'm speaking in the fucking park. I don't feel anxious right now, but I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my shoulders, I can feel it in my throat, I can feel it in my chest, my diaphragm. So it's very physical for me. Oh, bro, I cannot explain how much it's held me back and how much it fucking ruins my life. But even still, it's hard for me to be upset about it because there's so many things I've learned from it as well. And it is like a big driving force of what motivates me as well to work on other aspects of my life. Because like I think to myself, it's like if I sort this out, then it's like I have like the whole world at my feet, and sometimes it feels like that. If I have a good day, like vocally and mentally, I genuinely feel like I can speak to anyone. I have the whole world at my feet. There's so many things that I can do because I feel so good in my body, and I can trust my body and my mind. And I can trust that what I'm thinking can translate into the way I express myself and the way I speak. But that's just not the case recently. Like I said, it's very like anxiety and trauma induced. So if things happen in my life, like my MTD will flare up. Like recently, probably a lot of you, my close friends, will know that I've had an encounter with like sexual assault recently, and that really fucking spiked it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like going through that, I have never felt so tense, so on edge, so untrusting of not only other people but of myself in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that shit fucks me up. Fucks me up. But it's not even like I've never it's so hard to speak about it because I'm so used to not talking about it and masking it and trying to act all nonchalant and like it's not happening. Like I'm not feeling my fucking throat tense up as I speak. Like that I'm not used to articulating the way I feel about it, which is actually one of like the pros of having it because it makes you very conscious of how you're speaking. Like as you speak, you need to relax your throat and you need to breathe correctly, and you need to not let yourself panic about the fact your whole body is tensing up, and you need to try and convey your thoughts correctly. It's rough for me because I have so much to say. I love to fucking yap. I love to crack a joke. I love to see people. I love to be out of my house. And it limits me so much. So much. And when it comes to like, because I like to write songs, I like to sing, I like to play guitar, I can't do that because of my MTD. I can't do it. I can't sit and sing, even though I know that I used to have the ability as a kid. I was a decent singer. I wasn't great, but I could verbally sing. Now I can't even get the fucking words out my throat. it's really rough as a creative person because I love to make videos. That's why I'm making one. I love to express myself, connect with people, and it just doesn't. It's not there for me all the time, and I've had to learn to be okay with that. Um, but yeah, like some days I'll wake up and I'm actually mute. Like I cannot get my words out. Um, and like people have characterized me, oh, like she's just not a morning person. Bitch, I'm up at 5 a.m. every day. I am a morning person. I cannot I cannot speak in the morning. I cannot speak at all. And it's not just like, oh, like if I have a morning voice, I cannot get my words out. My throat is so tensed up, I cannot speak. I cannot speak. And I find a lot of it's in my jaw as well. So I've got like retainers that help me stop grinding my teeth in the night. I don't think it's related, but I get super lucid dreams, which means I'm a very active sleeper. I sleep very deep, but my brain is always active. I'm always in some fucking like other dream dimension realm or whatever. So not only do I not get rest, but I'm also an anxious sleeper. So I grind my teeth in the night. I wake up with my jaw fully locked in place. I have to fully like click my jaw back into place for me to be able to speak and communicate. And I've spoken to dentists and physio people about my like vocal issues and my jaw issues, and they can never detect anything. So I know that a lot of it is psychological in the way that, you know, when you're in fight or flight, there's also a freeze/fawn mode. That's what I often go into. Even when I'm not anxious, my body has been trained to go into fawn. So when I was at school, holy fucking shit, that was the time of my fucking life. I would be sat in class, and even if I felt I could speak to the person next to me, like that's the issue. I have so much to say, so much to fucking say. I'm not a shy person. I can sit and feel like I've got the whole like conversation planned out in my head. I always have something to fucking say, but I do you know how it feels to be held back by your body? That's how it fucking feels. I'm sat there, my throat. I try and speak anyway, and it's like this, and it's like they go, huh, huh, what did you say? I go, I said that I like your hair. I have never felt so frustrated in my fucking life. I'm so dead ass. And I've kind of I had to train my body to be okay with speaking. And I think a lot of it comes with like childhood related trauma, which we'll get into in a bit. But I've had to train my body to say, okay, you're allowed to speak. You're allowed to have an opinion. I've had these symptoms for like 5 years. I can feel my voice start to go now because I'm getting like emotional. My body's like, no, you're not allowed to be emotional, shut down. That's the way it is. And it all like actually fucking riles me up. Having MTD is so high maintenance to the point where it's like I said, I wake up, sometimes I can't speak. If it's my lucky day, which happens once every 2 weeks, I can hold a little conversation in the morning. I've kind of got it under wraps. Most of the time, it's not like that. Most of the time, I have to sit, I have to go, just to let my body know it's okay to make a sound. That's kind of like the way it is. And what makes it even worse is, like I said, this stems from like intense anxiety. I wouldn't say that I have anxiety anymore. I think I've pretty much worked through this on my own, but with therapists as well. I'm okay with where I'm at mentally. I think this is the best I've ever been mentally. Physically, on the other hand, is a different story. I feel like I store a lot of my emotions in my body, in my jaw, and in my diaphragm, especially. So after the sexual assault incident, that really flared shit up for me, and I could feel my body start to go. And what happens with me, I don't know if it's the same with anyone else experiencing it, but I feel my body and my mind disconnect. So sometimes it's easier for, I don't know if it is autism, it might be, but I'm not going to go there. Sometimes it's easier for me to do bits. Like, I can do the Love Island accent so easy, like, it's quite easy, my vocal cords, because, like, I'm not being myself, you know what I mean? Like, you're not judging me for me, this is supposed to be silly, you're supposed to judge me for this, you know what I mean? And it's fine. Like, I'm so locked in, I feel so comfortable. But then when I try and speak in my normal voice, it's a little bit different for me, and I feel my body start to tense up. I can feel it now in my diaphragm. And it's a lot to try and like maintain while you're in conversation. So while you're speaking to me, literally every person I've ever spoken to, this is what goes on in my head as I'm speaking to you. I'm monitoring exactly where my larynx is sitting. I'm monitoring exactly where my diaphragm is sitting. And I'm trying to adjust it as I'm speaking to you. And it gets very overwhelming and it gets very exhausting. It's so hard to explain because even I don't really know the dynamics of it. I don't really know what's going on in my body. And it's hard when you don't trust your body. It's hard when someone comes up to you, wants to have a conversation, and you feel completely fine, but the second you try and speak, it's a different story. And having people ask, "Oh, can you repeat yourself?" That shit. It gets me. It gets me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I think that's where it stems from, because obviously when I came to England, I had a very thick Scottish accent, had that sterling belt, right? I came here, I got bullied for it. I was like, okay, let me switch up a bit. Let me make myself a bit more digestible. So I went onto YouTube and I was looking for like accent tutorials. And obviously for the English accent, it's often like a posh person. So I developed this quite like posh English accent, and obviously I had remnants of the Scottish, so I sounded fucking American. So I had this like posh slash American hybrid accent. And I would still get comments on it that quite a lot, but I was easy to understand and I felt more accepted, so I could speak normally. Honestly, I don't really know what changed, but I started to develop the MTD, and I went mute for about 2 years. I couldn't speak to my family. I couldn't speak to my friends. I basically lost myself. I was genuinely, there was times, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I was gonna commit. I was gonna commit. But I had a feeling, I was like, I've always had this instinct that no, it's gonna get better, and it has gotten better. But that's only in the past like 6 months or so. There's a dog right next to me. But hang on. So I started to dig really deep into where all of this has come from, which has brought up a lot of like childhood issues as well. Yeah, this is where we're supposed to be. Don't fucking share your opinion. Don't speak a single word, actually. We're gonna have you sit in the corner and we're gonna have you be good, right? Shh, 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 shh. And I trained my mind to think, no, I'm allowed to speak. I'm allowed to be out there. My body has not yet adapted to this. So I wake up every day, can't fucking speak. It takes me a while to kind of like warm myself up. So I have to speak out loud. I have to have my like mist inhaler. I have to like sometimes I have to sit in silence because it hurts so much to speak. It hurts to speak even now. I'm in a lot of pain speaking now. And this is kind of like the most relaxed that I get. Like I'm outside and by myself. I've got my corona. Like I'm feeling quite relaxed. But this is honestly the best it gets. It only gets downhill from here. I'm gonna be so honest with you. It hurts a lot to speak. It's like a burning, like scratching sensation. And sometimes like my vocal cords, they just don't come together, which is frustrating. So I can go from having the best day ever, the world is at my feet, I can speak to anyone, way fucking down here. Way down here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna go to bed. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go meditate in the park, I'm gonna go to bed. I don't wanna fucking interact with anyone. I don't wanna speak with anyone. I feel worthless. I feel there is no point in trying anymore. That's kind of what I go through on a day-to-day basis, but obviously it's been going on for like 5 years, so it's kind of whatever. But I did feel the need to make this video because I think because I'm so ashamed of speaking about it and I'm so embarrassed of it, I think it's only making it worse. I'll kind of expect myself to be like outgoing, funny, like welcoming, which I know that I am all of these things and I can be all of these things, but my body just doesn't adapt. I've seen someone someone came over like 5 minutes ago And now my body's kind of like shutting down. So if I sound a bit slower, it's because of that. It feels so stupid to talk about because it feels like it's all in my head and it feels like I'm making it up and it feels like I'm looking for attention, which I guess is the whole reason I have it, because my body's like, no, you're not allowed to be those things. So that's kind of what I go through. I can feel my voice start to go now. Like I'm starting to, like, my diaphragm's kind of locked up. Um, it's a lot to go through, to be honest. It it does take a lot. But it's just stupid because like I'll wake up with the urge to go out there and like meet people, like go to clubs, stuff like that, and make music, post videos, and I just can't do it. And it's a hard boat to be in when you are me and when you want to do those things and you just can't do those things. So pretty much my routine just looks like waking up, going to the gym, massaging my diaphragm, massaging my jaw, meditating, reading out loud, trying to practice my pronunciation, which honestly I'm grateful for this because it's made me a lot more aware of how I'm speaking. So not only I'm a lot more receptive to other people's emotions. I think before I speak because I have to. I monitor how I speak, so I'm a lot more articulate than I was before. But even still, like this is me on a good day. It's not always like this. I will say it's made me a lot more resilient though, because I'm in pain 24/7. I'm in pain 24/7, even when I'm not speaking. The tension, if you imagine a period cramp, that's how it feels in my throat and my neck all the time, without fail, all the time. I wake up and it feels like I've genuinely been beat up in the face. That's what it feels like. And it's not fun to deal with. It's not fun to deal with. Wouldn't recommend. I'd give it like a 1 out of 10. Things that I kind of do to counteract it now. I don't smoke. I've quit. That's It's made it a lot more easier on the throat, like obviously. I've also kind of embraced the Scottish back, dug into a lot of fucking like trauma and anxiety from the childhood, and I kind of like really got to the root of the cause. I've reversed that, and it's a lot more easier to articulate myself when I speak in the OG accent because I don't know why I've never been able to adapt to the Hull accent ever. I don't know why. I must have an issue adapting to accents, but um, it's a lot easier for me to. It takes a lot less air. I've also had to raise my pitch because speaking in a lower tone takes a lot more air, which causes your diaphragm to close up, or mine does anyway. So I've had to train myself to speak a lot more higher, um, which it feels a lot more comfortable. So it's like whatever, like I can't complain. Um, it takes a lot of like monitoring though, like it really does. You have to be careful all of the time, careful not to overdo it. I'm overdoing it a bit now, and it's weird. It's really weird to talk about this because it makes genuinely the shit that this has put me through and how much like MTD has held me back has caused me more mental pain and physical pain than any fucking heartbreak I've been through, any kind of like assault situation I've ever been through. This is the most painful thing I've ever experienced. And it's easy for me to kind of, well, it's not easy for me at all to mask it. Like a lot of times, like sometimes my voice will crack, sometimes I'll just lose the ability to control my breath, sometimes it'll become like really scratchy, like, oh, she's raspy today, like that kind of thing. So I don't doubt that it is noticeable. But I don't really speak to anyone about it and no one's pointed it out. So I don't really know how that makes me feel because it makes me feel like it's all in my head. But it's definitely not all in my head now that I've researched it and I've kind of come to accept the fact that this is something that I struggle with. And I can't just play it down as, oh, it's just anxiety because it's developed into something a lot bigger and a lot more difficult to maintain. So yeah, I just wanted to share my experience on this so that I don't feel delusional. And honestly, it's a big reason why I cancel plans as well. Like I'll feel energetic, I'll feel sociable, I just can't do it because my voice holds me back, because my body holds me back. And it's not a nice thing to admit. It makes me feel stupid, it makes me feel depressed, it makes me feel like, wow, like I genuinely feel like I'm lying because I have never spoken about it out loud. So yeah, it doesn't feel great, but it does feel great that I've finally taken a leap and I finally said something about it, because it's been in my head for like 5 years, every single day without fail, all day, every single day. So thank you for listening. I love you so much. Bye bye.